Hi, I'm Kristin Fischer, a holistic health practitioner that focuses on the emotional component of our physical health. Today, we're going to talk about how our physical symptoms we're having in our body can have an emotional root to them. You can think of physical symptoms as our body talking to us, as warning signs that there's something deeper going on that we need to address. And if we don't address this, the symptoms tend to get louder and louder and louder. Have you ever had that lower back pain that starts out as an ache and then keeps increasing in frequency and in intensity until you're able to figure out what's going on? We also want to look at if there is an injury or a misalignment in the body. We want to seek help from the medical doctors that are able to help us heal from that. But we want to also look at this emotional component. Not only when you get hurt or have an injury, do emotions occur at that event. Think about if you fall. When you're falling, you might have felt embarrassed because you fell in a public place. You might have felt fear, maybe anger. There are so many different emotions that happen at the time of an injury that can get stuck in our body. But we also can take a step back and look at what was happening before this injury happened. What was happening before we felt this pain in our life? Was there something stressful going on? Stress is a huge precursor to physical pain. Having these emotional misalignments in our body can often lead to dysregulation. Before we start, I just want to leave a disclaimer that I am not a medical doctor. I am not a licensed therapist. I am a practitioner that focuses on emotional release and the emotional component to our health. If you are suffering from pain or you have an injury, please seek help from the appropriate doctor that is able to help you with those injuries. If you want to learn more about how our emotions and our lifestyle choices can impact our physical health and other ways to maybe heal some of the things going on within our body, please subscribe. We're going to be having some additional videos on how stressful relationships can lead to physical symptoms and how other symptoms can present due to stress and these emotions that get stuck in our body. So, as I previously said, sometimes it's beneficial to look at what was happening prior to this pain. And sometimes we have to go a ways back. If that back pain that you're feeling happened a long time ago, you might really have to sit and think about what was happening in the weeks, the months prior to this injury. I had been suffering from lower back pain, and I always attributed it to a car accident that I was in 5 years ago. And I was going to different chiropractors, looking at physical therapy, doing some other things to help this back pain, but it kept coming back. So I started thinking about the first time I really noticed it. And you might have to just sit, relax, calm your mind, wait for these things to come. Some of these memories happened a long time ago, and we need to wait for them to surface. And you might not remember all the details, but I did remember the first time I felt this lower back pain. I was driving in the car to pick up my daughter from school. I received a phone call. This was a stressful phone call, and I remembered reaching around in the car and feeling that pinch back there. And it had hurt ever since. So I started doing some sessions on myself, specifically focusing on that area, looking for that emotional component. And we can do some different event clearings. If there is a car accident, there's a lot of emotions, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety that come up when you're in these situations, not to mention the physical pain of being hurt leaves a lot of emotions. We can look at some of the emotions that come after and maybe keep us stuck in these patterns. So once I was able to do some sessions and release some of that energy that was stuck in there and preventing my body from healing, I was finally starting to get relief. So I did go and get help from the proper medical professionals for any misalignments, any injuries, but then also look at this emotional component that was keeping me stuck, that was kind of bringing me back and stuck in that cycle. I get a lot of clients that have knee pain. The knees store emotions, and he had called and wanted me to work on his knee because he could hardly walk. And he didn't tell me any details. He just wanted me to do the clearing, call him, and go over the session notes. So I started doing a technique I use called mind, body, spirit release, where we go identify trapped emotions that may be causing some problems. And it came up, he was at a place, which I knew was the gym from muscle testing and doing the session. And then it was a person he knew at the gym. Person had suggested he try this new exercise, this new routine that he didn't normally do. And he did it. And that's when he had injured his knee. And so he had gone home and was resting his knee, taking those precautions. But when we cleared out these stuck emotions, this energy that had happened in that incident of when he got hurt, the next morning he was able to walk and his knee wasn't bothering him anymore. This can sound a little crazy because he did have an injury, but there's this emotional component there. These emotions have energy. We are energy. When it gets lodged there, it can prevent us from healing. It can keep us stuck. In my own healing journey, when I first found energy medicine years ago, I was suffering from endless physical symptoms. I had migraines, vertigo so bad I wasn't even able to drive my car. I was having panic attacks. I was sensitive to smells, sounds, light, everything. Just walking up a flight of stairs, I was so fatigued I had to go lay in bed. I had chronic nausea, digestive issues. The list is a mile long. And I was going to every kind of doctor out there. And when I found energy work and emotional release techniques, and I started doing these sessions, not only did those symptoms start to go away, but so did my TMJ that I'd had my entire life. I had gone to numerous doctors because the muscles in my jaw were so tight and painful. The knots in my back went away. My lifelong asthma that I was born with, the doctors told me I was born with it. I would never be able to stop taking the medication. I started doing these techniques, and it's been years since I've taken any asthma medication. What was happening is my body was so stressed on this deep subconscious level that it was causing my muscles to be tight, my lungs were restricted in breathing, my digestive system was locked up. This is fight or flight. And it's all happening on this deep, deep level with these subconscious emotions that happened a long time ago. Our subconscious stores these emotions to keep us safe. Every experience we have sets off this cascade of physiological changes in our body, and we remember it. And sometimes it can get stuck there. So if you're running on the system, you might not think you are because in your conscious mind, the top of the iceberg that's poking out of the water, you think you're calm, you think you have everything under control. But underneath, if there's all this old stuff, old things you're not dealing with, old things you don't want to talk about, things that you thought you healed years ago, that could still be ruminating and creating, wreaking havoc, creating problems below the surface. We see this in a lot of different autoimmune issues. There's an emotional component to it. The body's just so dysregulated. The good news is that you can regulate your nervous system, that we have these techniques that use muscle testing and visualization techniques. They're not complicated, and we can use these techniques to identify what is still there, what still needs healing, what is causing so much trouble, and we can clear it out. It works similar to maybe acupuncture or massage. Have you ever gotten a massage and you feel a little emotional, or maybe you've done a detox and you'll find yourself crying? You're doing emotional release. These emotions get stored in different organs and they can start causing these physical symptoms. They can start causing this physical pain because the energy of these emotions are impacting the energy flow in these different organs, these different tissues. They're causing inflammation. So when we can identify this and start to heal this, start to release it, start to not only release it, but also rewire new patterns on how we think and how we process stress, then we are able to move into a more balanced state, a state of more equilibrium where our body isn't as inflamed. We're not in survival mode. Your body's able to rest and digest. And this is the state where healing happens. The good news, like I said, is we have these tools that we can use to identify where this work needs to be done. And it can offer alternatives for people that really feel stuck. And so just as easy as you breathe or your heart beats, You are responding, you are reacting all day long, every day. And if this reaction is in a stressful manner or what your body perceives as stressful, you are going to start having these physical symptoms. It's like having the gas pedal down all day long, every day. Eventually, that engine is going to start to have some wear and tear. It's going to start having problems. But when we can calm things down, start releasing this old emotional baggage, when we can rewire the brain and nervous system to respond differently, we can get the body back into a place of balance. If you're curious about how to release trapped emotion, healing, subscribe, follow below, like this, share it with a friend. I'm going to be doing some more videos in the upcoming days talking about relationships and physical symptoms, how these emotions can keep us stuck in patterns and what these patterns mean, and also talking about ways out. The world's a stressful place right now. We're all struggling in one way or another, and these tools can be really beneficial to help have a little bit more joy, peace, less stress in our lives. Subscribe below. I look forward to seeing you next time.